Hi, this is Mike Metzger with Murphy Business and Financial in Richmond, Virginia. In one of my earlier videos on pricing tips, I mentioned the importance of understanding the true earnings of your business when you calculate the price of your business. Now, suffice it to say that the earnings that you report to the IRS each year don't necessarily accurately reflect the true earnings of your business. In order to understand those earnings, we have to do an exercise that we call recasting of your financials. Recasting financials is simply looking at each line item of your P&L statement to understand which of those expenses can be added back to your earnings when we think about your true discretionary earnings. Now, there's four main categories that I look for when recasting a P&L statement. The first is a single working owner's compensation and benefits. That gets added back to discretionary earnings because it's entirely up to you and, by extension, the new owner on if and how much salary and compensation he or she wants to take from the business. So that gets added back to your discretionary earnings. The second category is personal or non-operating expenses. So that vacation to Florida that you charge to your business every year, that should be added back to discretionary earnings. We shouldn't detract from your business's earnings for personal expenses or non-operating expenses that you're charging against the business. The third category is debt servicing expenses. So you may be paying interest against a loan that you have for your business. Keep in mind that the new owner will likely have a completely different debt structure and may or may not have debt at all. So we add those interest expenses back to your earnings to calculate true discretionary earnings. The last category that I look for is one-time or non-recurring expenses. So for instance, let's say you needed to put a new roof on your facility last year and you took a $50,000 hit to the earnings on the business. Well, let's not count that against your recurring earnings. Let's add that back to really understand discretionary earnings. Likewise, another example, let's say that you overinvested in advertising last year because you had a specific market or a new product that you wanted to introduce. That's not necessarily a recurring expense year after year. We'll add those back to your earnings, again, to calculate those true discretionary earnings. We'll do a similar exercise on the balance sheet. I won't go through that just here, but know that balance sheet, it's important that you adjust all of your assets to fair market value and you think about which liabilities, if any, will be transferred to the owner. So there is a recasting of the balance sheet, but we won't go through that just now. The last point I'll leave you with on recasting financials and add backs specifically, know that every buyer and every lender is going to scrutinize every single one of those add backs to your earnings. So make sure that they're legitimate and that they're verifiable. I hope that helps you understand how we recast financials to develop the true earnings estimate of your business. Thanks for your time.